What's up? Your boy Domuto. We back with another video. Today we're watching UnrealEntGaming. The secrets of the Omniverse revealed. A new evil emerges. Raijin confronted by a deadly new darkness. Sorry. Anyway, we watching Beyond Dragon Ball Super, and yeah, you know, this story's getting good. You know what I'm saying? My boy got the configurations cubes, and yeah. Let's get into it. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and there you go.
As our story now continues, following the initial events of the demon god Raijin now finally having to secure his position by claiming all 3 configuration cubes and having to be moments away from being shown having to use them, to which it was only just moments after having to clear away our heroes and now having to gaze upon the 3 configuration cubes for himself now was when Raijin then went on to quickly respond, "I have waited so very long to finally go and see this day through in absolute succession, and at long last, with all 3 of these configuration cubes finally within my possession as they await for me to go and activate them, it's time for me to go and finally see on what it is that lies beyond the other side here," Raijin continues. "For not only will this now be a critical moment in having me go and decide on how I will move alongside my legion with next, but if there is nothing that exists which just so happens to go far beyond our known reality here, then I will accept this revelation and continue to build upon my empire within this current multiverse that I have captured and now currently rule over. However, if it just so happens to turn out that there in fact exist worlds and dimensions that go very far beyond this one, then they too will be conquered just as I had went and conquered this entire reality on top of it all," Raijin says, in which just within these very moments now with all 3 configuration cubes now being shown having to activate and create a special wormhole that was pulling Raijin within it was when Raijin then went on to continue, "Yes, what an impressive force of power indeed. And now that the cubes have finally merged together and allowing for this ancient portal to at long last finally be opened, show me the way towards achieving my ultimate goals by revealing the Omniverse's secrets to me," Raijin says upon now being shown getting completely sucked through, and allowing for me to go and find out once and for all if there in fact happens to exist far more worlds out there that are just waiting for me to go and have them be conquered. But then, it was only just after Raijin was then being shown having to get completely sucked through as he now went as far as to find himself within the outer gateway dimension, which is a cosmic pathway entrance that leads directly into the Omniverse, was when Raijin then went on to continue, well, how very interesting indeed.
Oh, shit.
It would seem as though everything that I had once heard has all turned out to now be true about this place after all. For this must be the entryway and having the chamber be in what will finally answer the age-old question on if there is more that awaits for me through and on to the other side of this current known reality, which is simply because now if this very idea is proven to be true, then why is it that I find this place to be far too quiet even for its own good, Raijin questions. For not only do I sense absolutely nothing that is coming from my surroundings here, but it would also now appear as though I am now beginning to sense various different power signatures that appear to be coming from inside of that chamber over there, and while they also appear to be flickering in and out while seemingly rotating other energy signatures in and out before having to replace the ones that I was just able to quickly detect, this only now here goes as far as to tell me that while said power signatures don't appear to be present here alongside with me at the moment, they seem to however be emanating and coming from extremely far away places, Raijin adds, and so this was why you were so determined in not allowing for anyone to learn of such a place now, were you, Grand Minister? For I can see on why you had never had intended to go and inform your strongest angel Murno about such a place when he had existed, because it's all starting to make perfect sense as to why that is. But be that as it may, you were foolish to have ordered for Murno to simply lock me away rather than having to destroy me, because I knew that one day my time was going to come, as now it finally has. However, it also looks as though this place hasn't been visited by any other existing creature before my time now, and having to find myself and crossing over onto the other side here. But nevertheless, Raijin continues, there it finally is, as the rumors of its existence has not only now proven to be true since having to first hear about such a place, but now that I can see that there is indeed far more to this life than simply having to exist within the rules and laws of one's own reality, as now I need to go and see for myself on just why exactly this was kept hidden from the rest of us, and to find out on exactly what lies beyond and over on the other side. How very intriguing, and yet so delightfully pleasing to now confirm that my cunning assumptions were not just mere delusions, but rather a profound insight into the infinite tapestry that I always knew had existed beyond my own known reality. But nevertheless, these venerable hieroglyphs here appear to also disclose the exact enormity behind what this so-called omniverse actually is like, for they seem to describe an extremely vast and complex plane of existence, which just so happens to not only house many more additional worlds that stretch far beyond my very own, but it would also now appear as though they each seem to serve their own purpose within this omniverse as well. For these very hieroglyphs read as follows: scrolled in the blood of the ancient oracles lay bare the grandeur of the mighty omniverse, and within it lies a colossal domain which is filled with extraordinary potential. And with the omniverse itself having to harbor billions of known multiverses and timelines, each with its own divergent narratives where every conceivable outcome has manifested differently from the turbulent saga of one's own existence, with battles won by the weak, alliances forged in betrayal, and destruction averted by mere whims of fate, Raijin continues. And for those who still choose to willingly accept this understanding with absolute certainty, then you may enter at your own will. So then that explains everything, Raijin says. For these are the worlds in which many more powerful adversaries happen to just lie within, each with their own laws of governance and rules, and with each of their own sets of actions and outcomes, and having them all result with drastically varying consequences and conclusions. However, by seeing as to how many there are that are spread throughout various timelines and realities, I have no doubt that there are going to be many worlds and many thrones that I must overcome within this process, which will not take me long after
see the other stories.
But nevertheless, while I welcome the challenge and having to go and see on just how powerful many of these mighty warriors just so happen to be, Raijin continues, each of their worlds along with each of their universes, no matter how vast and no matter how many there are, will all be conquered within my name, as I will go and lay claim over each and every single one of them. So what is this? Raijin then clutches onto his head by responding. This sudden and sharp pain that I feel that is coming from the center of my head, and that. For where did that unexpected and incredibly powerful fire just come from? Raijin asks, but then it was only just from out of nowhere within these very moments now, as a wall of fire was then beginning to emanate and having to now reveal itself before Raijin, was when an entity behind it went on to then quickly respond.
Oh, but how very curious of you indeed, as I wasn't expecting for a situation like this one here to honestly unfold the way it just did, and let alone it even having to go as far as to have any living creature find their way into this very dimension. But yet there you stand, and now let's see here. Timeline number C427. The first and original dark god of the demon realm, known as Raijin, the entity responds. A being filled with such vile ambitions and hatred, and yet I'm still very curious to know if you truly believe that your mission to go and try to rule over the omniverse here was actually going to be a successful one, because surely you didn't think that you were going to be the only one here now, did you? Because as it currently stands, I don't think so, demon.
So, and just where in the world did this sudden and unexplainable wall of fire just come from Raijin questions, and what's even more is that there also appears to be something that is lurking within that wall of fire behind it, as I demand to now know as to who that is. And so, I take it that you seem to know all about this Omniverse as well now, do you? And so just what kind of trick are you trying to go and pull on me here, creature? For I demand to know on how it is that you know my name along with who it is that I am and
who the
what
fuck
I'm
is that?
after right now, Raijin demands. For I demand answers and I demand for them now. Do you understand? And so now tell me on how it is that you were able to go and reach this place along with knowing all about the Omniverse before me. For I take it that you two had went and used your own set of configuration cubes from whatever world you just so happen to have came from, which would explain as to why you are here with me, is that right? And if you did, then I demand to know on which world it was that you just so happened to come from, creature. And so now start talking, with the entity responding,
Foolish demon, for I need not in having to use such childish relics in order for me to enter into the halls of one of the many gateway chambers that leads directly into the Omniverse, creature. For these configuration cubes that you just so happen to speak of are only limited to those who simply wish to try and discover the Omniverse, whereas I, on the other hand, have no such need for them because I was born within it, demon. For who I am and where I come from isn't as important as it is in having me wonder now as to how exactly it was that you had learned about the Omniverse from within your reality, and more importantly, on that woven power that I'm sensing coming deep from within you, Raijin. Yes, for I can see that you had went and combined your power with the former angel known as Murno, who just so happened to have once existed within this known reality of yours, as this would go on to explain as to why I am able to now sense both angelic and demonic energy that is radiating from your soul.
Demon.
But nevertheless, you are an abomination of the highest order, demon. But while I extend to you this chilling welcome, the entity continues, I did not expect to go and find myself in having to foresee there to be any soul, whether they be one of divine origins or that of a mortal one, to ever go as far as to breach within such chambers as the one that you are currently standing within. But what I will say is that your presence here, though extremely bold, weeks of desperation in hopes of acquiring a status that you know absolutely nothing about, demon. And since we have already been here for a very long time, while your amalgamated merger of power involving the former angel known as Murno is quite remarkable, there are others who exist within the confines of my circle here within the Omniverse, whose very power transcend the very known vistas that your primitive little mind can possibly hope to comprehend here, Raijin. For we would have more than likely have considered your services in having you join our ranks in order to further aid our cause if your heart wasn't so plagued with both greed, envy, and selfishness. But you should go and take this moment now here to tread very carefully and absorb my counsel while you are here, because the realm in which you seek to go and make your way directly into is a limitless orchestration of billions upon billions of different worlds, multiverses, timelines, and realities. For we don't plan on welcoming outsiders lest you are to fully go and submit your soul in giving way to my will and my will alone, demon.
with Raijin responding, why you? So you know about my amalgamated nature through having my power in essence be merged with that fallen angel Murno after all now, huh? Well, nevertheless, even if you do just so happen to know about what I went and had become, do you truly think that these childish little riddles of yours are going to be what truly intimidates me?
That nigga was riddling.
Because all you have managed to go and do here is simply go and boil my my blood right now,
shit.
Raijin says. And so now stand aside and make use of this moment of mercy that I offer you before I go and reduce you to nothing more than embers of that very fire that you have went and surround yourself within, creature. As I will not go and give you another warning like this again, with the entity responding,
Oh, Raijin, for this rage that you harbor is quite the sight for someone like myself to go and have to behold here. However, since you are so adamant in trying to attempt to go and force your way through and wanting to go and reach through the other side here, then perhaps I should go and allow for you to go and try to do so anyways, just so you can go and see that no matter how ruthless and no matter how powerful you think that you are, there will always be someone out there who is far stronger and far more ruthless than you could ever hope and having to possibly dream of becoming, Raijin. But the most ironic thing about all of this is that no matter how ruthless and no matter how evil and no matter how vicious and no matter how violent you have went and having to showcase for yourself to go and be, I, on the other hand, am far greater than you could ever possibly hope for yourself to go and be. As we are the ones who were always and will forever remain in total control of everything, demon. And so don't you ever go and forget it.
Nonsense, creature, Raijin then shouts, for how could you possibly expect to hope to know anything about what it is that I possess, when I in fact happen to go and harbor a power that is capable of destroying entire multiversal systems at the crack of my fingertips, you worthless animal. And since you truly want to go and test my patience, then you will either reveal yourself and fight me here and now, because if you don't, then you will go and step aside and make way for my infinite conquest to begin, with the entity responding,
and you somehow think that threatening me is going to go and honestly get you where exactly here, demon? Because not only are you utterly delusional if you still choose to want to go and take me on as you currently are right now, but even if I were to go as far as to reveal myself here against you, the end result will ultimately end the same. Where you could never come to fully understand on just how dangerous we truly are here, Raijin. However, if you still believe that you truly have what it takes despite it having the powers of one of the most powerful angels to ever exist within such a reality as your ultimate weapon of destruction here, then simply put, as I will go as far as to assure you one more time by telling you that you will not be powerful enough to destroy me even if you tried, demon. Let alone in having to go and deal with the others who are currently busy with finishing their missions here with me. But since I am already here, you hereby now have me all to yourself, Raijin. And so now go ahead and make your move here against me if you wish to go and be proven wrong again, you desperate little peasant.
with Raijin responding, oh really now, and is that a fact then, creature? Because with that fallen angel's powers along with his divine nature having to now course through my very veins and placing me at the absolute top when it comes to being the strongest living creature within my own governing reality, and I haven't even began to reveal the fruits of my true power here just yet, but maybe now I have more of a reason to go and now do so, since I can now see with my very own eyes that you are just dying to find out, and so now allow for me to hereby go and show you. But it was even despite with all of this, with Raijin's attempted attack now being proven unsuccessful, as the entity was shown having to stare back and having to laugh at Raijin, was when the entity went on to then quickly respond,
Well then, by all means, go right ahead and try, demon, but while you only continue to prove on why a creature such as yourself cannot be relied upon, or to have someone such as yourself be trusted with anything, as you
I don't know, Raijin, you might be barking at the wrong tree, my dog.
wish for, because not only have we all had went and seen a power that is very similar to your very own many times before, but as it currently stands within this very moment here between us, demon, and since I never would have expected to actually go and find another living creature such as yourself, and even having to come this far and wanting to try to see if they can peer into the Omniverse in order to go and see what truly lies beyond the other side here, and as you are far too untrustworthy to go and be given the chance to join our ranks by serving directly under us, and because I wish to see you crumble beneath the weight of your own failures within your own respective timeline and reality, so as long as I exist, the Omniverse and everything that you have learned that dwells inside of it belong now finally acquire the answers to your questions in seeing if there is more that exists outside of your own known given reality, you can go and rest assured here when I tell you that there is far more that is left unexplored that lies in wait within the voids of the Omniverse, but you won't be alive long enough to ever go and be given a chance to see that for yourself, as there can only ever be one true ruler of it all, and that very ruler and title hereby as God King belongs to me.
Oh shit.
Well, fine, then so be it, because if that just means that I will have to go and tear right through you in order for me to finally lay claim over everything in its entirety, then that is going to be exactly what it is that I will hereby go and do. And so now come and show me on what you're truly capable of then, and let's find out. With the entity responding,
foolish demon, try as you may like and try as hard as your cold, dark heart wishes to exert out here against us, but understand that while you are here and while I am able to now reach you, I hope that you understand that I will never go and allow for you to cross on over within the actual Omniverse itself, for your very fate is to be served inside of your own reality, and if you aren't destroyed by the time that we are able to go find and reach you, then I hope you just know that I will personally ensure that we are going to be the ones who will destroy you.
But then, to which it was only all the while in the meantime as this was shown having to happen, when then venturing back on over and seeing our heroes finally be shown having to wake back up after having to be saved by Whis.
What were the people? What happened?
Being shown finally coming back into their own, with Goku having to observe and seeing this portal for himself alongside with the others, was when Goku then went on to quickly respond. What in the world just happened? Whis, it's you. You've saved us, but the better question here is what the heck happened to Raijin, and just what in the world is that thing which just so happened to have opened right in front of us? Goku then questions. And how is it that you had went and managed to stay alive out here long enough against Raijin, Whis? Or were you able to go and learn something about Raijin during your battle here against them that perhaps could go and give us some kind of an edge as to what relates to some kind of a weakness that Raijin may be hiding out here against us that we can go and use? Goku questions, with Whis responding, worry not, for he is not presently here with us, for he had went and combined the 3 configuration cubes and having to go and be taken directly into the gateway realm that leads into the Omniverse itself. But Whis continues, while we don't have the time here to go and get into all of the details with what it was that I had learned when battling against this demon, and as I want for you all to go and listen very closely, as my battle against Raijin has left a profoundly unsettling feeling, since I now know that he is holding back, and so because I know that he is holding back tremendous amounts of power, I was able to go and capitalize on this moment given my ability to use my staff and heal myself at any given moment, which was how I was able to maintain myself for as long as I currently did, and so as long as my staff remains intact with me, Whis continues, and I can continue to go and keep us all alive while we are down here with him by healing you all whenever it is needed. However, I am afraid that we are no match in having to stand up against this beast, which is exactly as to why the overall situation right now is at its most critical, Whis says. But I do believe that I was able to in fact sense some kind of a vulnerability that came from deep within him, but I wasn't able to go and make out as to what exactly it was or where exactly it was that I could exploit such a weakness. But despite with what it is that I know, Raijin isn't unbeatable, but he's far stronger than Murno was for any one of us to go and take him down even while combined here. However, Whis adds, I do believe that perhaps we could further expose this weakness by attacking him altogether, as I could go and provide aid by healing everyone when needed, so that way we can go and make sure that we can extend this battle for as long as we possibly can in order to ensure our survival by not allowing for that demon to go
I think I should get like more people though
here. But while the realm that he is currently within is said to be a gateway entrance just before having to go and enter into the Omniverse itself, Whis continues, and I cannot begin to tell you on whether or not Raijin was fully successful or not in having to go about his mission here. But Whis continues, speaking of the very monster himself, there appears to be something very wrong with whatever may be going through and coming out from the other side of this portal here, and while I do not know on what it is that we will have to go and expect here, Whis continues, upon now now being shown Raijin get thrown out of the gateway realm and now having to make his way back within his own reality within the demon realm was when Whis went on to then continue, we must go and stick together here at all times if we are to go and find ourselves in having to go and battle against him, because without me here to aid you all through my healing, then we will all end up being destroyed if we aren't focused enough in this battle against him, with Goku then chiming in, hey, wait a minute now, look, because am I seeing things here, or are those blast marks that are covering parts of his body over there, Goku questions? Because if that just so happens to be the case, then this only just begs the question on who exactly it was or what exactly it was that Raijin had went and encountered while going through that thing, with Beerus responding,
like he went through it a little
what's
bit.
Even more disturbing are those 3 configuration cubes that are still glowing out there, because why do I have this strange and unsettling feeling that something is about to go and happen with them out there, Whis, with Vegeta then being shown chiming in, wait a minute, you don't think that Raijin is about to go and use those cubes against us somehow now, will he? Because we'll need to go and brace for whatever is about to go and happen if this turns out to be some kind of a preparation for an attack of some kind. And so what do, with Whis then quickly being shown having to chime in, no, for this doesn't appear to look like some kind of an incoming attack of some kind, because with all of the cubes now regrouping and all moving together all on their own, the amount of energy that is now beginning to leak from its outer edges suggests that something far more destructive is about to go and happen right now, Whis adds, which we therefore must hurry and brace ourselves within the walls of my barrier here once again, for this just so happens to appear as though this seems to be the doing of some kind of an outside force that goes far beyond that demon god Raijin out there, as I only say that to say this because if this was what Raijin had been after for a very long time, then I highly doubt that he would just simply go and destroy all of these cubes for absolutely no reason whatsoever, and especially if it isn't for him to go and prevent us and having to go and follow him through and onto the other side in hopes of having to stop him. But then, it was only just within these very moments now, with all 3 configuration cubes now being shown having to completely explode above Raijin and creating a massive shockwave below, was when Goku then went on to quickly chime back in, well, it looks like you were right about those cubes then here, Whis, but man, Goku says, and just how much power do you think was honestly needed for someone to go and destroy those things?
Damn.
Because from what it looks like, whoever had went and made it their mission to go and cast Raijin out and destroy those configuration cubes must be just as strong as Raijin is for them to go and pull this off like this. And so now what do you think that we should go and do now, Whis? As Whis was then shown having to create his barrier to shield everyone by then responding, well, whatever that may have been is no
sorry, when I talk, I'm kind of interested in this story. I'm sorry.
Because now it looks like that with Raijin perhaps coming up short and having to find himself and fully being successful while undertaking his mission and attempting to go and see this through until completion, we cannot go and take our eyes off this monster.
They just kicked that nigga out, didn't they?
Which is exactly why you will all need to go and be ready and prepared for anything that will be thrown within our direction during this coming conflict here against Raijin, Whis adds, because if we don't at least go and try to hold out against this beast for either help to arrive or for a weakness of his to be fully capitalized upon, for we will need everyone to be ready and having to go and face the absolute worst, which I will go and urge you all one last time to not go and take this moment for granted either while we are down here, Whis says, with Vegeta responding, oh well then should we go and start attacking him now, because we might not have another chance to swarm him while he's currently looking away. But then, it was only just then within these very moments now as an angry Raijin then began to exert more of his power by powering up following the destruction of all 3 configuration cubes, was when Raijin then went on to quickly respond, curse you all, you persistently conniving insects, all of you! For I was at my closest in being as to where I was destined to go and be, and now it's all been ripped away from me, just as it was all taken away from me when I first came into contact once before.
Damn.
And since you are all that is left that is standing within my way, since I can't go back within that gateway realm so that I may go and destroy the entity that had went and cast me out here by force, then I am going to hereby now go and guarantee that you are all going to be the ones that will be on the receiving end and having to suffer greatly because
But you want to say it to the Grand Priest, though?
I am going to take my anger out on all of you in such a way where not only will your pain be slow and deliberate, Raijin continues, while ensuring that every wound you suffer is to fester with pain and agony, but if the Omniverse itself and the power that goes beyond this reality is to remain inaccessible to me, then I am going to go and take every bit of my hatred out on the rest of you, before and having me go and reach the remainder of your friends that are left, for you will all suffer in that creature's place face for stripping me of my destiny once again. As it was only right there
Damn, what I do?
that moment where the Beyond Dragon Ball Super Story of the Dark Masters, the official Murno sequel, manga chapter number 50 special, then comes to a close.
Well, actually, I'll go ahead and take it from here, as I do want to.
Alright, shout out to East. Anyway, look, that was a fire vid. Yeah, that nigga, upset Murno. Raijin got kicked the fuck out the configuration queue, so we did that for nothing. I guess, whatever. Shout out to UnrealEntGaming for this video. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Check out the last chapter. Check out another video like right here, and I'll catch y'all next time, man. Peace.